Welcome to the Full-Time FBA Show. In each episode, it's our goal to help you turn part-time hours into a full-time income selling almost anything on Amazon. And now, your hosts of the show, Stephen and Rebecca Smotherman.
Hello there, and welcome to another episode of the Full-Time FBA Show. We are on episode number 256. This is going to be dropping on Labor Day in the U.S., so happy Labor Day. Hope you're getting to either take a break from your work or get some work done on your FBA business. Today we're talking about FBA versus FBM, Fulfilled by Merchant, and which one is better for you as a business. And here today to talk with me about this topic is Stephen, and I know you have a lot of opinions on this topic.
Oh, I do, for sure. And we'll get into it on this episode of the Full-Time FBA Show.
Before we get started with the discussion about FBA and FBM, I want to make sure that you are signed up for our newsletter. We send out an email about once a week, letting you know that there's new episodes of the podcast, there's new videos, there's articles or training that are coming up that you don't want to miss. So make sure that you are signed up for that newsletter so you don't miss out. It's at fulltimefba.com. You can get signed up, you can get a few freebies, and we would love to have you there. So when it comes to selling on Amazon, there are two main ways that you can handle the fulfillment of your orders. You can do it yourself, which is often called fulfilled by merchant or seller fulfilled. And then there is paying Amazon to fulfill your orders for you, which is called the FBA program or fulfilled by Amazon. And when you choose fulfilled by merchant as your method of fulfilling orders, you store the inventory yourself at your house or your place of business. And then when the order comes in, you pack up that item and ship it to your customer. But if you choose to sell via FBA, you ship your inventory to Amazon warehouses, they store it there for you. And when a customer order comes in, the Amazon warehouse workers will get your item, pack it up, and ship it to the customer for you. There are pros and cons to both options, and in today's episode, we'll share with you which method is the overall best option, but we'll also share the times it might be even better to do the other option.
So it might not surprise the listeners to know that Rebecca and I, from the Full-Time FBA Show podcast, think that selling on Amazon via the FBA option is usually the best way to go. I mean, there are many reasons why that is, but there's also sometimes that FBM, Fulfilled by Merchant, is a good way to go. But first, let's get into why FBA is usually the best way to have your items fulfilled when your customer orders from you. And to start off, if you're really wanting to scale your Amazon business toward making a full-time income, or even if you're wanting to make a solid side hustle income stream, it's always best to outsource as much of the easier aspects of your Amazon business as possible. I mean, think of it this way. Is the CEO of Nike Shoes actually in a Nike warehouse, picking the latest order of shoes from the warehouse shelves and packaging up those shoes in a protective box and printing out the shipping label and then driving to the post office that sounds crazy, right? They're not doing that. That's not the best use of his or her time. To put it another way, that's not what a CEO should be focusing their time on. They are the CEO, not the warehouse worker. Same with you. Using an FBA warehouse to fulfill your Amazon orders is smart outsourcing, and it frees you up to use your precious time in more valuable ways. And I say this often, if you're able to pay somebody $20 an hour so that you can use that same hour to make $40 an hour, that's the way to go. Using FBA frees up your time so you can scale your business and make more profits.
Some people say, and we hear this pretty often, but the FBA fees are so big and they keep getting bigger, I can make more money fulfilling the orders myself and avoiding those FBA fees. And that's partly true, but it's actually mostly not true. Yes, if you fulfill an order yourself with FBM, you can make more on that single transaction than if you outsourced the fulfillment of that one order to FBA. But you are trading away the time you need to do more profitable tasks for the time it takes to do something anyone else can do. Behind Stephen's desk, he has a framed letterboard. You know that kind of board where you can put customizable messages on display with all the letters that move around. Well, he has one behind his desk that says this so that we see it every day. Only do what only you can do. And that is the key to scaling any business and increasing your profits. only do the tasks that only you can do. And so if anyone can pick, pack, and ship your inventory, then someone else should be doing that, not you. And that's why we love FBA so much. Even if FBA fees go up, it's still an incredibly small price to pay for someone else to do the job that almost anyone else can do. And spoiler alert, fees 99% of the time, they're going to go up. That's just life. Fees for almost everything go up over time.
Also, just a side note, and just keeping things real here, if the FBA fees are taking too much of your profits, then you really need to think about how you can improve your sourcing skills to find inventory that have much higher profit margins so that if Amazon bumps up their FBA fees, which they do every year, you're still going to be able to take home a nice profit from each sale on Amazon. And yes, it's possible to find inventory with higher profit margins. If you want help with that, we can talk about that with our full-time FBA coaching program.
We're going to get into the times that we do suggest doing fulfilled by merchant soon, but you want to stay with us for that. But before we get into that, we also love teaching our coaching clients that FBA is the number one best way to start your Amazon business. And when starting to sell on Amazon, there is so much to learn. So many things learned via a course or coaching. And some things you can learn just by good old trial and error. And starting off your Amazon business using FBA helps really minimize that trial and error as you're starting off. I mean, even if something goes wrong with an FBA shipment to your customer, FBA takes responsibility and your Amazon seller account does not get dinged. Since it's not your fault, it's the fault of the FBA program. And it's the same if you get a negative seller feedback from a customer who's complaining about a shipping issue. Amazon will mark through that feedback and include a message that FBA takes responsibility for the mistake. Plus, the negative feedback your seller account gets will not be counted against you. And this will help you as a beginner to avoid starting your seller account with too many legitimate dings on your account and too many negative seller feedback ratings. So using FBA from the very beginning of selling is just a better way to start selling on Amazon.
So obviously here on the Full-Time FBA show, we love FBA. But there are a few downsides with selling via FBA. The biggest downside is the time it takes for your FBA inventory to be live on Amazon, which means buyable on Amazon. I mean, think about it. You first source your inventory item, then you might spend a few days before you ship it to Amazon. It might be in a shipping truck for a week, headed to an Amazon warehouse. Then there's more time waiting for your inventory to get checked into the warehouse and finally go live on Amazon. And during that time, it is possible for other sellers to jump on that listing and possibly even tank the price so that by the time your inventory goes live on Amazon, it's not even profitable anymore. On the other hand, if you source your inventory today and choose to fulfill it yourself, you can have that item go live on Amazon that same day, priced competitively, and yes, that sounds awesome to possibly sell the item the same day you sourced it, but there is more to the story to consider. Yes, it takes time for an FBA item to go live on Amazon, and the possibility of price tanking can be super frustrating. But again, it all comes down to improving your skill as an Amazon seller to make better sourcing decisions. Please hear me when I say this. These instances of having the price tank by the time your inventory goes live on Amazon are super avoidable. Not completely avoidable, but mostly avoidable. And that's one of the things we talk about in our coaching program as well. And if you're curious to find out more about our coaching program, check it out, fulltimefba.com/coaching. And in our coaching program, we teach you how to find profitable inventory that will hold its higher price and how to almost completely avoid the price tanking situations. And that way you're able to make the profits you expect to make on that sale and avoid having to do any of the fulfillment work yourself. Again, since anyone can fulfill your orders, that means you should not.
That's right. We found the right sourcing strategies to use in our Amazon FBA business where the instances of competitors tanking the prices are greatly reduced. Does it still happen from time to time? Yes, but it's super rare when it happens to us because we know what to do and how to source in a way that we avoid buying those inventory items that will have a price that tanks.
Okay, so we've talked about the biggest positives of using Fulfilled by Amazon to ship your customer orders, but you know what? We haven't even talked about the number one best reason to choose FBA over FBM, and that is this. We've shared this stat with you before, but remember, well over 80% of the sales on Amazon come from the buy box. You know, that little corner in the upper right-hand corner of an Amazon product page that shows the price, and there's a button where customers can click buy now or add to cart. Over 80% of those Amazon sales come from that area, that buy box, that real estate, that box in the Amazon product page. And Amazon FBA sellers will almost always get the buy box over a fulfilled by merchant seller.
And not only that, but it's been shown that FBA sellers can, in most product situations, price their inventory 20% higher than FBM sellers and still get that buy box and get sales. A few years ago, Stephen and I were invited by Amazon to come to the Amazon headquarters in Seattle, Washington. And one of the things we learned there was that the number one filter Amazon customers use when searching to buy an item is the Prime eligible filter. And that means FBA, basically. Most customers don't even see the fulfilled by merchant offers on the items they're shipping for, only the fulfilled by Amazon offers, because they have toggled that filter to only show them Prime eligible items.
Yeah, that Seattle trip to the Amazon headquarters was awesome. And while we were in Seattle, we got to cross off another Major League Baseball stadium off our bucket list while we were there, but that's off topic. So let's get back to FBA versus FBM. So if you're wanting to make a full-time income selling on Amazon, then you want your inventory to be in the buy box, priced 20% higher than your FBM competition. So the customer can, with one click, add your item to the shopping cart or buy it now. And this is the number one reason we have over 99% of our items fulfilled via FBA. And we coach our coaching students to do the same.
Okay, Stephen just said over 99% of our items are fulfilled by FBA. So that means that less than 1% of our inventory that we sell is going to be through the FBM or fulfilled by merchant program. In fact, it might even be 99.9% of our inventory is FBA and 0.1% is FBM. But we'll close out this episode sharing the best times to consider selling certain inventory items via FBM. The most common item that we sell via FBM is toys of a certain type during mid-December. Let's say it's December 15th. And if we've looked at the sales data history on Keepa, and we can see that once Christmas has passed, a certain toy that we're sourcing is going to drastically tank in price or just completely stop selling and not have a really good sales rank at all after Christmas. And if we know, remember it's December 15th now, and it's going to take about 2 weeks for an item to go live on Amazon from the time that we've sourced it and prep it and all of that, then that item might not even go live until after Christmas. That is when we will consider, not absolutely yes, do it, but that's when we will consider selling via FBM during that short time in mid-December.
Yeah, and this is also true of seasonal items when we would consider selling via FBM instead of FBA. If we have a seasonal item that we source that's super close to being out of season, we might consider selling it via FBM in order to have the inventory go live on Amazon faster than waiting for it to get to Amazon warehouse and then maybe show up and go live after the season is over. So basically, if the sales expectation is about to drastically drop, and we have it on hand, then we will try to sell it via FBM in order to get it live on Amazon faster.
So again, here at Full-Time FBA, we know that selling inventory on Amazon via FBA is easily the best way to run your Amazon business if you have the goal of making the most money possible with the least amount of time spent. For sure, FBA is the way to go. It is the only way that you're going to be able to use the Amazon selling program to spend part-time hours and make a full-time income. We love to receive your feedback and your reviews here at Full-Time FBA. I want to share with you a couple of reviews that we have enjoyed reading. Both of these were 5-star reviews. And the first one says, I love listening to Stephen and Rebecca. They're a wealth of knowledge when it comes to FBA. Their shows are short and to the point and share valuable information that Amazon sellers can easily implement in their business. And the second one says, I've been listening to Full-Time FBA for years and have learned so much. Stephen and Rebecca do a great job sharing their knowledge with newbies as well as veteran sellers. I highly recommend. So we would love to hear from you as well. Please leave us a review. To do that, you can go to your favorite podcast player and leave a review. Or if you want to go to fulltimefba.com/leave a review, you'll have instructions and links there for how to do that. Thank you so much for joining us for this week's episode of the Full-Time FBA Show. As a reminder, the links that were mentioned in this episode, as well as the show notes, can be found at fulltimefba.com/256, because this is episode number 256.
And next week on the show, we are going to be interviewing Karen Locker, talking through the benefits of outsourcing your Amazon back-end activities. Basically, if it's something that needs to be done in Seller Central, it's possible to outsource all the things that you need to be doing. And there's even some things you might not realize you're supposed to be doing. We'll go over that and how to outsource that next week on the Full-Time FBA Show.
That's all for this episode of the Full-Time FBA Show. So head over to fulltimefba.com/podcast, where you'll find the show notes and links from this episode. While you're there, subscribe to our newsletter, where you'll get several free downloads of our popular and helpful Amazon FBA resources. Now, take action on what you've learned today, so you can find success at turning part-time hours into a full-time income with Amazon FBA.